What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Jaimon, the place for everything social work, college, and grad school. If you're considering Aurora University's Master of Social Work program or just wondering what a Master's of Social Work workload really looks like, I got you in this video. I'm giving you the real breakdown of what a typical week looks like in the program, how much is actually due, and what kind of assignments you'll be dealing with every 8-week term. So, quick little update. I have been busy, I've been stressed, life has been lifing. I've had a lot going on, but at the end of the day, my classes have been very manageable and I've been doing everything I can to be able to excel in my classes. And so I'm just going to go ahead and just break down everything. First, I'm going to go over the weekly structure of the classes. Then I'm going to go through the assignment types and examples of what we do. Then I'll go over pro tips and workflow, what I personally do. I'll actually show you guys a syllabus of the work that we actually do so you guys can get a really good idea of how long it takes, what you're doing, and what exactly you're doing so you can plan better moving forward. The weekly structure. First off, every class runs for 8 weeks, and during these 8 weeks, every class will have around 2 to 3 assignments or discussions per week. They are usually a mix of discussion posts, which are around 1 to 2 per week, written assignments, which come up weekly or bi-weekly or sometimes every 3 weeks. And then you also have case simulations and documentation practices, which we'll get into a little later in the video. And then everything kind of builds up to your key assessment, a big paper or project that's due at the end of the course. And sometimes this key assessment might include a few assignments, might include a presentation, then might include a final paper. So, it's a pretty, I wouldn't even say too hefty. The papers are never longer than 10 pages. I've never written a paper longer than 10 pages. Mind you, I'm in my generalist courses, so each class is expected to take 10 hours of your time weekly according to Aurora. But if you're organized, it doesn't have to feel like that. I personally batch my work. I do readings for around 1 to 2 hours per day, discussion posts on Sundays, and my replies on Thursdays. That helped me stay on track without burnout. I know Sunday is my day to really just get all the work done that I need to get done. You dedicate your Sundays, and then also I have Thursdays just to go through and do some discussion posts and then reading every day. So it's not too much for me as of right now. But I do have to do it on Sundays because I work full time. Now, assignment types and breakdowns. So we're going to break down the actual assignments that you'll have. So discussion forums. Yep, they're around 1 to 2 per week. I think I've had a week where it's 3 of them, but yeah, it's around 1 to 2 per week. And expect a 300-word post per prompt. So I've written up to 600, 700 words, but you really only need 300. That's the minimum for a lot of the classes, most of the classes. And your replies are only 100 words each. The replies aren't even too much. You got to make sure that you're doing the readings and so you're understanding the discussions, but the discussions are not too hefty. Some classes have up to 13 discussion forums per 8-week period, so you can kind of see the breakdown is like 1 to 2 per week. You also have written assignments as well. These are usually 1 to 2 pages for smaller tasks, but the big projects are around 6 to 10 pages. That's what I've seen. I haven't had to write over 10 pages so far for my generalist courses. Sometimes you'll have reflection papers, documentation practice, or writing assignments tied to a final group project or application or something like that. Also, you work in groups sometimes. So I'm taking social work with groups right now. So in that class, we work with the group. So you're working with the group to be able to formulate these assignments and things like that. You also have exams and simulations. So exams are usually writing based, so it's like the key assessments, like your papers, things like that. And then you have like little quizzes that are super easy if you're doing the reading, and honestly just a lot of it's kind of common sense with the quizzes, so the quizzes are not too challenging, and I have quizzes pop up every once in a while too. And the simulations really give you a digital client scenario and ask you to analyze it like a real clinician. So you're going through and you're basically given like a little mock therapy session that takes around an hour long, and then you just analyze all the data and write about it and things like that. So it's really good application and practice in a non-harm environment because you can mess up in simulations. It's not with a real person, so you're not negatively impacting someone's mental health and you're getting practice at the same time. So that's a really cool feature that a lot of my classes courses have utilized. 3 out of 4 of my classes have utilized a simu-case assignment. So, and then how we got to the final projects, the key assessment. Every class ends with a key assessment that combines everything you've learned. It can combine assignments. It's just basically like that one paper or whatever, just to display what you've learned in the course. It could be a 10-page paper, group project, or a full case plan or intervention proposal. They're usually worth a very essential portion to pass the class as well. So I'm going to pull up a picture of the syllabuses so we can kind of just look at them. So we see one of them, you have your discussion forums. You have 13 in that 8-week period. So it comes out to around, 1 to 2 per week. You also have, I guess, some discussion forums. So yeah, it comes out to around 2 a week for this class for discussion forums. And then we have our self-reflection paper. And then we have our documentation practice. And then we did like a training to get a certificate. We had a family project. And then we have our key assessment. So you can see it's very, very easy. You have 2 discussions per week, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then about an assignment every week. So it looks like this class has around 3 assignments, per week. Some breakdown like that, but not too difficult. Now let's pull up the other class. Is this the same thing? It's the same thing, chat. Yeah. Sorry, chat. It's the same thing. But at the end of the day, my pro tips for my workflow, if you're worried about the workflow, don't panic. Here's how I've learned to manage all this. Sunday is my grind day. I knock out all major assignments, discussion posts, everything I need to do. I try to read for 1 to 2 hours every single day in the mornings to just jog myself of the reading, to get ready for the assignments. And also, you don't want to say, oh, I'm going to do all my assignments and all my reading on one day, because I'm telling you, it gets a lot. So I do the reading that I can, and sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't got to every single portion of the reading. There's been times where I skim. There's been times where I might skip a little portion to make sure that I can get the important parts, because you'll sometimes in a week you'll be assigned 500 pages. I've been assigned 500 pages in a week to read, and so it becomes a lot. You can't. I'm not gonna say you can't, but at the end of the day, I found a lot of success reading and then taking what I know. With these discussions, you could find a way to discuss and articulate what you have learned without articulating every single thing. Just get those points that are really important and hone in on them and show that you have an overall understanding of what the discussion is. And that's all the teacher's really looking for. They ain't looking for you to reread and proofread every single thing they give you. So that's just what helps for me. And then on Thursdays, doing my discussion replies, because you want to wait a little bit, because sometimes it takes everyone a little while to get their discussion post in. So that gives me time to think through responses, learn from others, and just have that other casual, little communication with them. Replies, if I'm replying to 4 discussions, it might take an hour. So it's really not too much. Sundays, I could catch myself working for 5 hours. I could catch myself working for 8. There's been a day where I got everything done in 3 hours. So it really just depends on your workflow and what you're doing and how prepared you are. So that's why I try to come into Sundays super prepared. I don't need to read. I'm good. I'm just going to get going. I always recommend staying ahead of the readings during week 1 and week 2, because the projects sneak up quick. By week 6, 8, you look up and you got a rough draft due, and you're like, I ain't even start on this. So I definitely recommend looking at some of these early. You have kids who work through the course early, and honestly, I'm one of those types. Like, I would rather just sit for a full weekend and finish half the course, but at the end of the day, I'm not doing that, just because I am going to take this a week at a time, and I'm not really trying to run and speed run through these courses and burn myself out and all these things, because at the end of the day, these courses are 8 weeks. So if I do just speed run and grind through a course, I might give up 2 weekends, but at the end of the day, it's just like, I'm just going to take it day by day, and just take it as I go. Someone commented for me to cover this topic on the exact work, and I hope that I was able to provide the information that you needed. Next, I'm going to work on the internship request because someone wanted to know a little bit more about the internships and how to get an internship and just how they work and everything like that. So the next video will be on that. If you're thinking about applying to Aurora's Master of Social Work program, that's what your workload will realistically look like. It's consistent, it's demanding, but it's manageable if you build a routine that works for you. I'll be dropping more videos soon, so stay tuned, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and drop a comment down below so I can see what you guys want to see, because it kind of makes my day when I can make a video off of something that someone really wants to know. So, it just lets me know that, like, I'm doing the right thing. So I appreciate y'all. We out for the day. I'm gonna hit the Jaimon U. Even though I'm not feeling it, I'm gonna hit it. Jaimon U! Sometimes you just gotta fake it till you make it, man. Like life gets hard, but gotta fake it till you make it. And thank you.